My name is Jeff Morgan. I'm from Dallas, Texas. And to continue on, I think it's going to be my last two videos on the Texas Family Law Foundation. As I said in the past, I've done Texas Family Law Foundation Betrayal of Trust. I don't think that they are trustworthy, but that is my opinion. I think that my opinion is shared by many people. But, you know, just so that I can't be sued because I'm stating my opinion, right? And I think I have enough evidence to back it up. But anyway, so in fact, here's what I do have. I have the Texas Family Law Foundation, and they are bragging about family law bills that did not pass the 85th Texas legislature in 2017. And they were saying that, you know, one of their jobs is to kill bad bills. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, that there were certain people, they said for privacy reasons, individual members of the foundation who assisted the lobby team are not named, but you know who you are, and we are forever grateful. And again, so what were some of these bad, horrendous bills that would have set the family law system back and everything? So one of the bills was the bill that I was very interested in, and I actually went down to testify on. This was House Bill 93, presented by Representative Matthew Krause. Now, here is the spin from the Texas Family Law Foundation as they're writing to their members or to whomever this thing is addressed to. Unfortunately, it was not addressed to me. I want to thank the individual who gave me this. And Steve Bresnan, if you would like to put me on your mailing list, I'd be glad to receive your propaganda and everything, all of the correspondence that you send to your members. Perhaps you would like to give me an honorary membership in the Texas Family Law Foundation. President Warren Cole, I would accept it from you. I would accept it from former President Joel Cannon Sheridan. I would accept it from Steve Bresnan, or I would also accept it from the lobbyist Amy Bresnan. In fact, I would also accept it from Charlotte Bradshaw, who testified against House Bill 93 last year. I would love to have this membership. But anyway, what is House Bill 93 by Matthew Krause, this dangerous, insidiously evil bill, all about? Say goodbye to no-fault divorce in Texas? Yes, this bill would have ended no-fault divorce. Although by the time it was voted out of the House committee, it allowed no-fault divorce if both parties consented. So this bill, this evil, horrendous, insidiously evil bill, basically said that if you have no-fault divorce, both people need to agree to it. It needs to be about mutual consent. You cannot forcefully divorce your husband or your wife. You cannot forcefully divorce, you cannot forcefully break up your family and then say, by the way, I want 50% of everything, and I also want the kids, and I want you to pay me child support. It is only a divorce granted for no fault based on mutual consent. And by the way, this is such an outrageous idea, isn't it? We do have two states right now in the country that have no fault divorce by mutual consent. That is Mississippi and South Dakota. Both of them have no-fault divorce only if there is mutual consent. Is it really that unreasonable? Two people get married together. This was not a forced marriage. This was two people agreeing to marriage. One person saying, will you marry me? The other person saying yes. Both people exchanging vows publicly and before God in many instances, before a priest, a pastor, a minister, a judge, whatever, and many witnesses. Two people did this together, but one person is allowed to say, I don't want it anymore. That's it. I win. You're gone. And it is a lawsuit. Divorce is a lawsuit. So I don't know if Steve Bresnan wrote this, so I will not put this on him. But whoever wrote this, it is very frightening how many legislators do not remember days when spouses either had to defame the other spouse, beat them, or cheat on them to be granted a divorce in Texas. All the bill was doing was saying that divorce should be done by mutual consent. Is that such an evil thing? Or would you rather have divorce forced upon somebody and have that person automatically lose the lawsuit and have that person be given no due process guarantees and have that person basically having assets and money and everything else taken away, their family broken up? Is this really what the Texas Family Law Foundation stands for? For the unmitigated ability of anybody to destroy a family and children and a household and their spouse for any reason, for no reason, they can make up a reason? This is what the Texas Family Law Foundation is standing for. And this bill was a very minor adjustment to say no-fault divorce can only be granted if there's mutual consent. And by the way, the same bill is coming up this session. It's House Bill 922. But beware, this is a very evil bill you need to look at very carefully because the Texas Family Law Foundation has declared it to be an evil bill. The bill was voted out of committee by a party line vote. Pay attention to the co-authorship listed on the bill. And if I remember correctly, there were 15 co-authors. So they're trying to say, take a look at these people that are co-authoring this bill. The legislators who co-authored this bill range from seasoned attorneys to brand new young legislators, some of whom also are attorneys. The bill was very late arriving to the calendars committee and eventually died due to lack of time. Moreover, countless foundation members worked to oppose this bill. This insidiously evil organization, this sister of Satan, the Texas Family Law Foundation, said, we can't have something like this go forth because if this goes forth, it may help to destroy our business practice. It may help to undermine our cash flow. That is what was at stake for the Texas Family Law Foundation as they were representing the financial interests of their family law attorney members. We have every reason to believe this bill will be filed again next session. So, are you ready for Texas to return to the era of the 1970s? Very interesting question. Of course, in every era you have good things and bad things. But one thing that the Texas Family Law Foundation does not say is that divorce rates were a lot lower back then. And attorney Shelby Sharp actually testified that if you look at the introduction of no-fault divorce and violence incidents that take place, there is a correlation between the two. Anyway, so House Bill 93 in this upcoming session is House Bill 922, again sponsored by Matthew Krause. And again, this is a very reasonable bill that says if two people get married together, if they want to divorce, they should mutually divorce. It should not be forced divorce. The Texas Family Law Foundation stands for unilateral forced divorce against one person for any reason, for no reason. They can make up a reason. It doesn't make a difference. And the Texas Family Law Foundation also stands for the fact that when that person files for divorce against often an innocent spouse, that the innocent spouse always loses 100% of the time, guaranteed, and often has to end up paying child support or something else. This is the Texas Family Law Foundation. Now the next bill, House Bill 65 by, once again, Representative Matthew Krause. And again, I give thanks and acknowledgement to Representative Matthew Krause for sponsoring this bill. Now here is the, wait a minute, let's go back to the first page of the, this whole thing, issues to anticipate for the next session. We will be dramatically extending waiting times for divorce. Dramatically extending waiting times for the divorce. Dramatically. There's no drama involved in that phrase, dramatically. So House Bill 65 said this, and this again was by Representative Matthew Krause. This bill would have extended the waiting period for divorce on the grounds of insupportability. Insupportability, by the way, I will get back to this in just a moment. Insupportability is found in Section 6.001 of the Texas Family Code. All it says is for one person can plead insupportability, and that person will get a divorce. There's no proof necessary. The person may say, well, my marriage is insupportable because my wife doesn't like me having multiple affairs. And therefore, she's insupportability. She doesn't like my running around. So therefore, our marriage is insupportable. So I'm going to file for divorce against her. And it's no fault. You know what I'm saying? It's just no fault. Or the wife may do the same thing to the husband. The wife may say, listen, I'm seeing this one guy. He makes a whole lot more money than my husband. He's smarter and everything else. He's more attractive. He's more fit. And you know what? He does not like me messing around with this other man. Well, you know what? Our marriage has now become insupportable. So insupportability becomes the cloak for a whole lot of bad behavior, a whole lot of wickedness in the state of Texas. And by the way, insupportability is nowhere defined in this Texas Family Code. Somehow, this word insupportability, the judge magically knows what it means. The petitioner magically knows what it means. The defendant, who magically knows what it means but disagrees with it, that doesn't make a difference. You're just the defendant here. You're the respondent in this case. We have no idea what you're being charged with, and yet you can lose your family. Your legal status can be forcefully changed upon you. You will lose the case, and that is guaranteed 100% of the time. And that's so easy to prove. In the last 5 years, have you known of at least 3 cases in which somebody has said, I didn't want the divorce, and the judge said, I'm not granting it? It doesn't happen. The judge grants a divorce. That's the Texas Family Code. So again, it's forced divorce. But anyway, to go back to from the insupportability to the waiting period just said it's going to be extended from 60 days to 180 days if the couple had children who were minors or disabled. how wickedly evil this bill is. If a couple has children, they have to wait 6 months due to the reason of insupportability. You have children that will be on this earth for years to come. Many children who will talk about their lives being destroyed by divorce. And the Texas Family Law Foundation wants to say, well, let's get it over. Let's wrap it up as quick as possible so that these children can get on with their lives. There's a book by Layla Miller called Primal Loss. Now Adult Children of Divorce Speak Out. Layla's actually given me permission to spread this book. If you want to contact me, send me an email. I'll send you a free copy of the book from Layla Miller. Talks about how kids are impacted by divorce, not just immediately, but throughout their lives. And the Texas Family Law Foundation, who's of course looking out for the best interests of the children, as we will see in just a few moments, does not care. It's so dramatic, what a dramatic extension of the waiting period from 60 days to 180 days if there are children, minor children, or disabled children. And the interesting thing about this bill that the Texas Family Law Foundation opposed, it passed out of committee 7-0. It was unanimously supported, bipartisan support. Democrats and Republicans, all of them without exception, supported this bill. The bill had 22 co-authors. All of these people thought it was good. The Texas Family Law Foundation talks about killing this bad bill. It's interesting how everybody can say the bill is good. The Texas Family Law Foundation will say the bill is evil and wicked and bad and everything else, and somehow they're to be believed over the opinion and over the decision of everybody else. This letter said that the bill had several co-authors. Actually, there were 22. But with the help of numerous foundation members, we were able to keep the bill in the calendars committee, and it never made it to the House floor. It was a bill with 22 co-authors, and there would have been more co-authors. I've spoken with people, and they said they were unaware of the bill, or they would have also signed on as co-authors. Unanimous support. Republicans and Democrats, men and women of different ethnicities, everybody said this is a good bill. The Texas Family Law Foundation, that insidious organization of evil who claims to be acting in the best interest of the families in jurisprudence when they're really looking out for their own best interest. They, with the help of numerous foundation members, we were able to keep the bill in calendars committee, and it never made it to the House floor. But had the bill made it to the House floor, it is possible, based on the co-authorship, that the bill would have passed in some form. This is not the first time we have seen this bill filed, and fully expect it to be filed again next session. And so that your expectations are correct, House Bill 926 by Matthew Cross is again filed this session. But remember, this is what the Texas Family Law Foundation says of itself. It is important to note that stopping very bad bills may be the most important job that the Texas Family Law Foundation performs during a legislative session. Everybody thought this was a good bill. Every single member on the Juvenile Justice and Family Issues Committee, Republicans, Democrats, male, female, black, white, it did not make a difference. Every single person thought that this was a good bill. It had 22 co-authorship. And the arrogance of the Texas Family Law Foundation to then brag about how they killed this bill. And one of their most important jobs is to stop very bad bills. Astounds me. Their arrogance astounds me. This is your Texas Family Law Foundation. This is the organization that legislators, representatives, and senators are going to advice on what is a good bill and what is a bad bill. They wouldn't know a good bill at times if it hit them in the head. This was a good bill. Well, maybe they did know it, but they chose to kill it anyway, to try to do everything to kill it anyway. That is how evil this organization is. Thank you.